Well, that's exciting. We have been around for a year now. In April was our year, 1 year anniversary, and we are a pretty diverse coalition of, I want to say, 13 to 15 organizations based in LA City and LA County. And so the way IYEC originated was practically last year, right? Like last year, y'all heard about immigration reform and deportations and whether Obama had the power to take administrative action or not, right? Like, so delays and delays and delays. Meanwhile, people were getting deported, right? Like, so we topped off the 2 million deportations. Nobody was saying anything about it, even though Obama had the power to stop deportations, to use his executive power to expand administrative relief. And so while big mess was happening at the national level, we said, okay, what can we do here locally, right? To fight back on the deportations, to create a lot of alternative messaging, right? As opposed to like, you know, just related to immigrant youth or so-called dreamers, right? Like there's other people that do not necessarily identify or fit in that category, and there's so much diversity in our immigrant communities. So we need to be intentional of that and include that. So we pretty much got started last year. We wanted it to fight back on the deportation machine, through which various programs actually get to meet that quota, right? There's an 1,100 deportation quota nationally, so somewhere out there in the country, right? 1,100 people are getting deported every day. So we're like, okay, well, let's do that, right? Let's start calling out on elected officials. Let's start holding a lot of these people accountable, and let's start pressuring them to start deportations here locally in LA. Given the LA County and LA City are the largest, right, with the largest concentrations of undocumented immigrants, and we're staying pretty silent about it. So that's how we got started. We wanted it to familiarize ourselves with the local landscape. So who's in our city, right? So besides Mayor Garcia, who is in charge of the sheriff's department? Who do we need to talk to? We need to create visibility. We need to inform that community that's directly impacted and have them be at the forefront. So, yeah. So that's just 22, sorry, I was lying. It's more than I actually thought. Organizations that are part of the IYEC coalition. However, right, like some of these organizations play a more of like an active role versus a supportive role. So like leading a lot of the strategy, sending out to letters, turning out to press conferences, and I'll show you some pictures of that. So this is who is IYEC. So our main goals, right, as IYEC coalition, we're like, all right, so what are we about? What do we want to do? And so our main goals were, first of all, right, to ensure that the Trust Act was fully implemented. How many of you have heard about the Trust Act? Right, and it's been around for a year now, and a lot of people still don't know about it. And actually in the back, I have some Trust Act Know Your Rights in the back by the computers. So if any of you need some of that, I only brought a few of them. So if they run out, you can also get them online. So okay, right, like, so what do we mean? What do we mean by ICE? And by ICE, right, like ICE, Immigration, Customs and Enforcement, we mean we do not want any sort of collaboration between local police enforcement and ICE. Given that their job as ICE technically is to deport people, right? Okay, well, let them handle their job and we'll take care of ICE. And let local law enforcement take care of a lot of the issues that are already going on, especially around police brutality, to restore the trust in the community. And we didn't want to have any ICE holes, but as I'll be explaining, Secure Communities is no longer around. Now we have a new program with different name, with the same goal, which is to deport people. And so no ICE in jails, no 287G agreement, no PEPCOM, so that's a new program, and I'll talk about it, and no information sharing, because now with the new program, with PEP, Priority Enforcement Program, what ICE is doing is, okay, sheriffs, you know, you don't need to hold people because we have a Trust Act, right? You can just share their information with us, and we'll take it from there. So, I'll explain a little bit about that. And so again, right, like to amplify and create a lot of awareness, a lot of around these issues that are happening in our county, in our cities, right? Given that we are the Golden State, and a lot of people think, yeah, California, woo woo, super progressive. But really, are we really progressive? Are we there yet? So, as I mentioned, the ICE holds are technically, essentially non-existent anymore, given that there's a new program called Priority Enforcement Program, PEP, but we like to call it PEPCOM, because it's the same as Secure Communities, ESCOM, to hold people, right? And as we saw through various court victories, right, lawsuits, they're mandatory. They're not mandatory, they're optional. And so, as good organizers, or sometimes not good organizers, sometimes we tend to throw out a lot of organizers lingo and a lot of like acronyms, a lot of big words, and people are like, what's this? Yet I'm directly impacted. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of the terms that we use and that are part of our campaign. And so again, right, like deportation quota, what the hell is that, right? Like, well, that's how 2 million deportations have happened, because 1,100 people are getting deported every day through various programs, which I'm gonna go over. One of them is 287G, which here in LA County, we no longer have 287G. That's one of our current victories. However, we are gonna have PEP be rolling out, and I'll explain what that is. 287G, pretty much what it does is pretty much provides funding to certain sheriffs, deputized sheriffs, to conduct interviews at the county jails. So if they see that people are foreign born, they're going to be interviewing them and inquiring them about their legal status. And based on their records, right, like they're going to be separating, essentially classifying people and whether that is transferring them directly to a detention center and deport them, or just straight up from county jails deport them, even though sheriffs keep denying that. But there's been some cases where people have been deported from a county jail. Like I mentioned, Secure Communities is no longer available, is no longer around after the November announcement that President Obama gave, but it was essentially replaced with PEP, by Priority Enforcement Program. And pretty much, right, like this is information sharing once people are booked. So going through, being channeled through a jail, right? They're fingerprinted, their information is shared. They used to hold people, but now they're not holding them, they're giving notifications. And then the other program through which people are being deported is CAP, Criminal Alien Program. And it's also a federally mandated program. So again, right, like they're interviewing people while people are detained, while people are in jails. And there's different variations, and sometimes it's really hard to tell how deportations are happening, either back then, right, Secure Communities or CAP or 287G, because they're so intertwined and they work together as a team, essentially, to deport people. So it's hard to say this person was solely deported under CAP or solely deported under 287G, because the sheriffs and ICE agents are working together to deport. And as I mentioned, the Trust Act was is a bill, it's a law now, and it took us about 2 years, I want to say, let me see, yeah, 2 years to win this law, right, to fight back, right, on the collaboration between local police enforcement and ICE here in our state in California. Well, it took us 3 years, I'm kidding. And again, right, this is just the bare minimum. This is just the bare minimum that we're saying, yes, you shouldn't be collaborating with law enforcement, with local police enforcement, but at the same time, we know that now with PEP, the trust is not enough. The Trust Act is not enough. We need to strengthen it. And how are we going to strengthen it? Well, yeah, we can continue adding on to this law, but essentially it's gonna be coming down to us developing relationships with the law enforcement with our communities locally and statewide to ensure that we as a community, we as directly impacted, we need to ensure that they know that we are watching them and that we know about the ongoing deportation program. So in the back I have little cards, so if any of you would like to know more information. And then this is a new program, right? So here in LA County, yes, we terminated after 10 years that 287G agreement. And we as LA County, 10 minutes, we as LA County have, we're the one of two counties in the whole state that had 287G. Orange County is the remaining ones. Even San Bernardino and Riverside counties had already ended their 287G, and we as LA were falling behind. So as the coalition, that was one of our goals, right, to terminate 287G ASAP. And again, right, like, so these are the priorities that supposedly, right, like Sara Saldana from ICE said that she is making sure that the ICE agents are going to be carrying a little card just like this with the different priorities. And as they are picking up people to deport them, they're going to be checking off the priorities. How many people think that's actually going to happen? It's not, right? We know that people are channeled by racial profiling. We know that people are still going to be put in a situation where, right, most likely it's going to lead to law enforcement contact, which will lead on to deportations. Because again, the quota is in place. There's a bed quota in detention centers. There's bed quotas in jails, empty beds that need to be filled up. So where are they going to be looking for people? On the streets, through raids, through other collaborations. And so that's why we as a community that's directly impacted, we need to make sure that we are aware of what's going on and how do we fight back. So these are the priorities, right? Like, so going back to the language that Obama was used, that ICE is deporting felons, not families, right? Like, in us understanding that for many of us as immigrant youth coming from an area of privilege, right, that many people, right, like fit this category as a dreamer, right, like not everyone does. And so many people, as human beings that we are, people make mistakes and people deserve second and third chances. And we strongly believe, right, in restorative justice, right, transformative justice. That you don't just punish people twice for being undocumented. If people did commit a crime, all right, that's fine, right? Like, let them serve their time and then provide the services to be welcomed back into society and continue providing and contributing. But on the other hand, we're seeing that ICE is going after people that have committed crimes years ago. They served their time, but they're still deporting them because of the deportation quota. And even though people keep saying, and the sheriffs, right, keep saying, oh, PEP is not implemented, like we're still waiting on the green light to actually roll it out. We know different cases where people have already been deported through PEP, through these priorities, right? People that just came to the US, a lot of the families, the Central American families that are still detained, they're being deported, right? Obama, Hillary Clinton, they all said, deport them, we don't really need them here. So again, right, like this is not addressing a lot of the issues that are happening in our communities, and that's why it's really important for us to be informed and speak up. And again, right, some of the ways that we as ICE Coalition were able to accomplish a lot of these victories or just wins have been through creating visibility, social media, having some community forums, talking to people one-on-one, and engaging people, right? Engaging people that, yes, we live as LA County, there's 5 districts, and these people, we are part of the different 5 district constituencies, right? And we are constituents, and these things affect us because we live here, we are community. So that's been one of our goals, doing power analysis, mapping out, right, where's LA City, where's LA County, who are primary targets, who are secondary targets, how are we gonna get there, right? And so again, right, like being very intentional in doing research, right? When you're developing a campaign, you have to do research because you're not just going to be, okay, let's hit up all these people, right? But as a board of supervisors, we knew that they are the ones that vote to expand the budget for jail expansion. They are the ones that vote on renewing the 27G agreement, right? So these were our old targets, right? Before these two turned out. So we did phone banking, we used social media, we had people that are part of these districts, so District 1, 2, and 3, make a call, show up, go to the meetings, things like that. And so again, right, like making sure that people that are directly impacted are sharing their testimonies. So like this family, right, that had been in detention center Sergio from Baldwin Park have been detained because of police and ICE collaboration because of a trust-like violation, right? At the end of the day, a law means nothing if there's no community power behind it. So he was a victim of a trust-like violation, which essentially, right, like he was fighting for a U visa because he was detained for, various months due to a trust-like violation. So these are just one of many stories that we've heard. And so again, we're like utilizing social media, phone banking, making sure we attend meetings where a lot of these conversations are discussed, and packing the room when the votes happen. And again, right, this was leading up to terminating 287G agreement, which this was last year, as Gloria Molina, who is actually very anti-immigrant, made some comments about the immigrant community. We definitely decided to blast that out, right? Like to ensure that, you are insulting your constituents, you do not represent the immigrant community, and everyone needs to know, and we will hold you accountable. And these are just pictures of some of the various collaborations that we have had with other organizations that also working around police brutality issues, holding the sheriffs and board of supervisors accountable, fighting back on the bid quota and jail expansion. More pictures. This was very recent. This was a Friday before Tuesday when the 27G vote happened. This was last week or 2 weeks ago, I forget. May Day, Patricia, Patricia, who's the mom of Victor Calderon, who's currently detained in Adelanto due to the 27G agreement, the collaboration between ICE, local law enforcement. He served his time, but after he finished serving his time, he was transferred to Adelanto, and it's a deportation proceeding. So actually, it's going to be a call to action. I have like less than 5 minutes left. So I'm also going to be asking for people, whoever is willing to help out today, to sign Victor's petition to stop his deportation. His mom, Patricia, has been very, very outspoken about his case. And yeah, she's amazing. She spoke against it. During Mother's Day, there was an action around Mother's Day, right? That she's just one of many mothers that will not have their son next to them because they're incarcerated, they're detained, they have been deported, or they have been killed by the police. And yeah, those were some of the celebratory pictures after the 27G agreement happened. And just again to remind people that this was a very small step, that after 10 years, like literally after 10 years, we ended 27G, but we are rolling up PEP. And that means that the deportation court is in place, and we do not get to stop until ICE is fully out of LA, until there's no collaboration between ICE and local police enforcement, and there's not one more deportation. And yes, this is Victor's petition, which is in the back for those of you that would like to help out. And another quick story. Her name is Omara, and she had a record that was 16 years old. She was a mother of 3 U.S. citizen children from El Salvador, Boyle Heights resident, had been living here for 26 years. However, because of PEP, pretty much ICE went after her one day when knocking at her house and said, yeah, you have a record that's 16 years old, we're gonna take you in. So they ended up taking her in, was detained at the Nato Detention Center, and I wanna say about a month ago, she was imported back to El Salvador a few weeks before her son's graduation from high school. So that's just one example of many stories that we do not hear about that the deportation plot is taking place. Regardless of DAPA, regardless of DACA, like people are still gonna be deported. And yeah, that's just a quick graphic of some of the statistics, right? Here in LA County. And that's Victor, who's detained in Adelanto, and we have the laptop set up in the back if you would like to help sign this petition. And that's our contact information. Facebook, I said over LA, follow us on Twitter. That's my information, and that's CJUS information. And again, I know it was super quick and rushed, but trust that card's in the back, Victor's petition in the back, and I'll be in the back as well if any of you have any questions. Would like to join us. We're gonna be partnering up with different organizations in the Valley, in Palmdale, in San Gabriel Valley, Boyle Heights, and in South Central LA to continue doing community forums to inform the community and just get people involved. So thank you again.
Thank you, Edna. Let's give her another round of applause. Alrighty, so the conference is almost over. I know we are tired. It's been a very long day, but a very informative day, and I hope you guys can take a lot from today. So up next, we're gonna do the 8 clap. So, I know people are probably thinking, oh my God, another clap. But the claps just get the mood pumped up, and that's what we're trying to do here. So the 8 clap is UCLA's clap. So it goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, U, C, LA, UCLA, 5, 5, 5. And the reason we're doing this clap is because ideas started here at UCLA years ago with only 4 people, and the conference today, there's hundreds of people here, so it's just amazing to think that something could go from nothing to everything, 0 to 100 real quick. All right, so we have our volunteers. We're gonna do it, and we want everyone to join with us, and if it's not loud enough, we're gonna have to repeat it. And I know you guys want your scholarship, so let's do it real loud. So if we can have everyone stand up. Volunteers are gonna do it first, and you all should be louder than them. So we're gonna do a little competition here, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way they should be louder than you guys, okay? All right, so volunteers. Oh, and check this out. Your children know how to do the 8 clap. They've been taught, so. That's future Bruins right there. All right, volunteers, show them how it's done. Game speed, because we're a little used to being at the games, fighting against SC, and we have to be pumped up. So we don't have to take it that fast. We can go a little bit slower so everyone says the words and stuff. All right, now let's hear you all, and we're gonna have the children lead it. UCLA, fight, fight, fight. That was cute, but we need something real powerful, okay? So ideas today. The IYEC conference is actually happening in Santa Barbara as well, and Cornell University, which is way in the East Coast, is having an IYEC of their own. So this is just really enormous event, and they need to hear us, okay? So one more time, let's hear everyone together. Thank you to everyone, and we want to invite other colleges, other coalitions, if you all want to partner with us to create this event of your own.